In the early 2000s, director Peter Jackson was at the peak of his career. After earning an Oscar nomination for Heavenly Creatures, the visionary director managed to convince New Line Cinema to take a risk on him and fund the insane production for the Lord of the Rings trilogy. For us gamers, the movies also spawned movie tie-in games that surprisingly weren't shit. In fact, I actually still have my copies of them right here. Well, technically, the Fellowship game isn't a movie tie-in game because of rights holder issues at the time, so it was made by someone else, and it's not made by EA like the other games, and it's not tied into the whatever. We could toss that one out. But these two games, oh man, these are awesome. After The Return of the King released in 2003, everyone was waiting to see what Peter Jackson would do next, and lo and behold, it was announced that he was working with Universal Pictures to make a revival of the 1933 classic King Kong. Everyone was hyped to see this movie. It had all the high-quality visual effects that we'd come to know from Peter Jackson. It had crazy scary vibes being set on Skull Island, and it starred Jack Black.
I am Steve.
And once again, we found out that we'd get to experience another video game adaptation of a Peter Jackson movie, with Ubisoft announcing their movie tie-in adaptation releasing in November 2005 for the GameCube, PlayStation 2, Xbox, and most importantly, a next-generation version available at the launch of the Xbox 360. The hype was already through the roof for the launch of the new Xbox 360 console, but this is really when things started to catch fire. I remember the King Kong game being the main demo available at kiosks in GameStop, EB Games, Walmart, Circuit City, pretty much everywhere. This was a video game based on one of the most recognizable IPs in cinema history, from a director that had just ascended to Elden Lord status, from one of the best publishers, starring all the main cast of Hollywood actors, and the game was going to be releasing on the new HD next generation console. There was only one possible reaction to this. The game opens up with the trailer for the movie showing Denham, played by Jack Black, as he's gathering the cast and the crew for the film that he wants to make. Once everyone is together, they hop on the SS Venture and they make their way out to sea to start the production of the film. But Denham tricks everyone to instead sail toward his true filming location, the mysterious Skull Island. The ships get lost in the fog and they run aground, and the group makes their way through the island trying to survive against the monstrous creatures trying to kill them around every corner. And for some reason, I never actually played this game until now, so to my surprise, the game actually does follow the movie pretty much one-to-one. We play as Jack, the screenwriter for Denham's film. In the movie and in the game, he's played by Adrian Brody. But he sounds an awful lot like Matthew McConaughey.
Okay, it's reloaded. That's okay, I got enough magazines.
And the group tries to make it to safety and get back to the ship, and gets captured by the locals and offered as a sacrifice to Kong, which is an incredibly well-made scene which also follows the film. Jack and the crew set out to rescue Anne while Denham is focused on making his magnum opus.
Would you look at the size of those legs on tree trunks? For God's sake! Oh, Fester, you're crazy, Denham. There's no hidden island. I'm not investing in your picture. There's no lost civilization. Don't make us laugh.
There are also a few levels where you play as King Kong fighting against the monsters and protecting Anne. And just like the movie, Kong gets captured, taken to New York, and there's the iconic scene at the Empire State Building. The first thing you'll notice during gameplay is that there isn't a HUD. You'll never even know how much ammo you have left unless you press the B button in order to hear a voice line from Jack. And there's no aiming reticle. Instead, you hold the left trigger to bring up your weapon, then you just start shooting in the direction and the bullets will hit. You can hit the right stick to aim down sights, but the muzzle flash in this game definitely did not hold up over time. But really, the combat is used more as a vehicle for the story that's being told. The whole presentation is very cinematic. It's an incredibly linear experience. You're constantly just pushing forward to find and rescue Anne, but the entire game takes place in first person and there aren't very many cutscenes. Everything plays out with in-game set pieces. It's pretty impressive for a game from 2005. It feels very immersive, and it does a really good job at making you feel like you're just some dude on this ancient island of monsters. And oh brother, did I feel that. Around every corner, there's a chance for a giant millipede or a dinosaur to jump out at you.
Ow! Is it broken?
And I don't really handle jump scares all that well, so I almost put the game down after the first few levels after about the 5th time of getting jump scared by a giant millipede. Anytime you take damage, you get the red flashing screen and dimmed vision, which is a pretty common mechanic, but the visuals are so dark that it's almost impossible to see. And I played this on an OLED TV. I couldn't see shit. Looking back, I bet this wasn't nearly as big a deal when the game first launched. I mean, most people in 2005 would have played this on a CRT anyway, which would have overly brightened the hell out of the image. So when I was playing the game, I basically just crept through every area, afraid of what was around every corner, trying to keep my distance from every enemy that I saw. There are only a few weapons that you can use to fight back against the creatures that you can find throughout the level. There's a pistol, a Thompson, a sniper rifle, and a shotgun. Pretty much just like every other game, the shotgun is busted. Ammo's pretty sparse throughout the level, so you do have to worry about conserving your ammunition. And there are spears and there are bones around that you can pick up and you can throw to conserve ammunition. You mainly end up using the spears to set bushes on fire, usually to clear obstacles to let you advance, and also to kill enemies with the blaze. But anytime there's fire on screen, the frame rate chugs to the single digits. But aside from when fire is on the screen, the game does still look incredible for having released in 2005. The jump to the new generation came with advanced lighting, dense foliage, and longer draw distances than the previous generations could do. And it all comes together into a package that drew people in, and it made you want to stop and consider buying an Xbox 360. I only experienced maybe 1 or 2 bugs throughout my entire playthrough, and they were insignificant enough that I didn't even place a marker on them in my footage. The game sports the movie's soundtrack, which is why you won't be hearing any of it since it's all copyrighted by Universal Music Group, and I'd rather not nuke my channel. As Jack, you'll make your way through the jungles, encountering all the creatures, and trying to meet up with Captain Englehorn, who flies his plane over the island and occasionally drops you weapon crates. As you go, you'll be attacked by millipedes, bats, and crabs.
So here's this giant enemy crab.
And there are some sequences where you find dinosaurs. But also sequences where the dinosaurs find you.
Look out!
And for the levels where you play as Kong, the camera zooms out to a wide third-person angle, and you'll spend most of the time running and jumping from vines to platform your way to the end of the stage. And I'm guessing the developers have never played like any other game, because for some reason jump is on the X button and attack is on A. And if you mash the Y button, you can beat your chest and go into a fury mode for more damage and survivability. You'll fight against the other large monsters like the giant bats that you have to dash and then charge attack through whenever they swoop down at you. And once you knock them down enough, you can rip off their wings by mashing the attack button. And this is like the most difficult button mashing event that I've ever experienced in a game. This isn't just like hitting the button 5 times and you're good. This is one of those where you gotta grip that controller hard, bend your elbow down, get your forearm pumping to finish them off.
And I'm spent.
You'll also fight against these giant leeches, or you'll fight against the V-Rex dinosaurs. But the fights themselves are just dull and tedious. You're basically just mashing the A button in order to swing and attack. There's no combos or anything. You just hit a few times, back up so you don't get hit, then you do it again. If you get near a wall that has the vines on it, you can climb up it, then you can jump off and you can hit them from the top rope.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!
But once you've already done one of these button mashing fights one time, they've already overstayed their welcome. And there's even a section where you have to fight off 3 V-Rexes attacking at the same time, and it just turned my brain to mush. I did really enjoy my time traversing the jungle as Kong, especially these certain sections where you have to place Anne on a pedestal so that she can get some fire and clear the brush away. I thought that was a really nice touch to blend gameplay with the story's development of the relationship between Kong and Anne. In the final section of the game, after Kong gets captured and brought to New York, you'll play as Kong breaking free from his bondage and fighting off his captors. This section feels like it was made by a completely different team. And for some reason, the camera controls are inverted only in this section, and it really threw me off, and I actually had to go back and replay an earlier section to confirm that I wasn't losing my mind. And yeah, I was right. Pressing left or right on the right stick during this section rotates the camera in the opposite direction. And the camera does that really stupid thing during this part where it jumps between fixed points. So as you're running down a road and the camera changes, you get all disoriented about which direction to push your joystick in order to keep moving forward, if you can even still identify which direction is forward after the camera shifts. You end up needing to grab these cars and throw them at the searchlights to stop the soldiers from shooting you, but you can't just throw a car at them. You have to wait until the camera switches to a fixed camera that's placed behind the spotlight. So you don't really feel like you're fighting the soldiers in this section, instead you're just fighting with the controls. Finally, you climb to the top of the Empire State Building, and there's this iconic moment of fighting off the biplanes as they fly by. And this scene looks so impressive for a game released in 2005. And just like the original story, Kong is shot and killed and he falls down. And the game ends with Jack Black saying the iconic line, except the game sort of bugged out on me and his lip is missing for some reason.
It wasn't the airplanes. It was beauty killed the beast.
What is wrong with your face?
Overall, the King Kong game is one of the best titles available at the launch of the Xbox 360. It's a great game, and it really does show off the power of the next generation consoles at the time. The real problem with it, though, is that it has no difficulty settings, no real challenges, and ultimately it has no replayability. It's sort of just this like 4 to 5 hour adaptation of the movie. It's incredibly effective as a movie tie-in game, like I can give it that. It really isn't often that we get movie tie-in games that are actually decent, let alone good. It had some really cool things going for it, especially given the context in 2005. There used to be a King Kong website where you could get codes and type them into the game to unlock little bonuses. There's also a fully 3D museum for you to walk around and view the concept art and some of the character models. Like, this stuff is just cool. If you beat the game a couple of times and you earn enough points in your playthroughs, you can unlock an alternate ending. This alternate ending was actually approved by Peter Jackson to be included in the game as a fitting alternative for the King Kong film. In this version, Jack, Ingelorn, and Anne take control of one of the biplanes, and they use it to shoot down the other planes and to destroy the searchlights that are pointed at Kong. Kong escapes, and we see that he somehow made his way back to Skull Island without anyone tracking him down or knowing how he got there. And the plane's engine shuts off for some reason as they circle around him, which I don't think that's how planes work. But there he is, he starts beating his chest and he does his loud roar, and then the game goes to credits. It makes no sense, but damn is it cool. People still look back fondly on this game, whether it was because they got it as their first game on the Xbox 360 or because they're just a fan of the movie. Physical copies of this game still sell for about $35 or $45 on eBay and other marketplaces. It's kind of insane. Peter Jackson's King Kong was one of the best titles available at the launch of the Xbox 360, and it's still worth picking up and playing 20 years later. It's a little hard to believe it, but it's already been 20 years since the launch of the Xbox 360 all the way back in November of 2005. So I decided to revisit all of the titles available at the launch of the Xbox 360, and because there are 17 games to play and revisit, I enlisted the help of my buddy Gloom is Dead. He makes incredibly thoughtful and introspective reviews of games from the golden era. If you want to see more, you can find a link to our playlist covering all 17 games in the pinned comment below.